I actually have my cup of coffee, even though it's 5:45 p.m. It's real, people. Let me show them. Bam. It's quite a mug for 5:45. Where's your cocoa? Is that an empty cup?
You know what, Joss? It wasn't an empty cup. It actually had coffee in it.
You don't drink coffee. Is that Marlena's?
Actually, she made me the coffee.
Oh, wow. We're going to have a conversation. You never drank coffee. Joss, and suddenly you're this engaged man and your fiance gives you coffee and you're like, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I've loved coffee all of my life.
For years has been trying, like literally our whole time knowing each other, like 6-7 years.
Our whole friendship.
We've like, you've always tried to get me into coffee. And I've drinking some of your coffee like 2 or 3 times. And I'm finally a regular coffee drinker, actually.
What? No, I'm actually like not even kidding. I'm not even like, what? Did you just say that you're a regular coffee drinker?
I'm not a regular yet. I'm enjoying it. So we gotta be the distinction there. But I'm enjoying it. It's good coffee. The caffeine actually like kept me up and made me productive the other day.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I feel some type of way. Like I'm not gonna lie. I'm genuinely hurt because of how much effort I put in. Like, okay, time out. Side note, Marlena, you're welcome. Okay. The reason he likes coffee now is because of the investment I've given this for the past 6 to 7 years. You're welcome, Marlena. You're welcome.
After months and months, years of torture, of asking, and now I'm finally drinking coffee. But you know what, Joss? One day I'll drink your coffee and I'll actually critique it and see if it's good or bad coffee. I mean, I hope you have hazelnut creamer because that's what I've been using.
That's actually exactly what I have in here. It's my coworkers. Thank you very much.
So yeah, so I actually drink coffee. That's the whole thing. But you know what? It's been a good day for me, Joss. Having coffee, going through work, marriage prep stuff. What about you? How's your day?
Do I look a little disheveled, people? Look at the hair, a little bit, the makeup, a little runny, eyes a little puffy. It's been a really shitty day. It's been a really it's just been a very emotional day for me, like a very hard day. Don't ask why. There's reasons, but like not really reasons. I was just in a very like melancholic mood, very like say good morning to me. And I'm like, why are you saying good morning? Is this the last morning? It'll be good. One of those.
But you were telling me something before we went live, Joss. You said like you had a great prayer experience in the morning, and then you're like, it's gonna be a great day. And then you know what it was? Not a great day.
A really hard day, yeah. And that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today. Like this morning, I spent a good 45 minutes to an hour in prayer. Read scripture. I did the rosary, like whatever. I did my thing, and I'm trying to get into this new rhythm of things. And I thought to myself, like I've got it down pat. Like I woke up early. I did what I had to do. Today is going to be a great day. And it was the utter opposite of what I was hoping for, prepared for, anticipated. Right. And so where do you see God in a day where you thought it was going to be great? Like, where do you see God in a day where you're like, Jesus, I started with you. And I asked you to join me throughout this really hard day. Why do I feel like you're not here?
That's definitely something like that's real though, because everyone expects that you have a good prayer experience, your life all of a sudden is going to go great. I don't know. There have been days where I would sit for adoration or pray rosary, or mass was a beautiful day or whatever. And be like, all right, everything's going to go great from here. And then like you get smacked in the face with reality, and we have to realize like that's kind of why it's important that like the church tells us that you can't base everything on your feelings, your emotions, because you're going to have a great prayer experience and then go out into the real world. And not to say real world like that, but like you're going to go out into like work, into family situations, into relationships, friendships, whatever. And you're just going to get your butt handed to you by like how hard the world is sometimes. And, we got to take that with grace. It is tough, Joss, don't get me wrong, but it is a way to like ground ourselves in recognizing that we're not God. We don't have it all in control, as much as we like to think so.
Funny you say that. My prayer this morning was on what could I cast on to God?
Hmm.
What could I give Jesus? What area of my life do I seek control over? And how can I give that to God?
Hmm.
And so, I did some reflection and some meditation on that. But like today threw me for a curveball because all of today was something that I could cast on God. And so I think that it goes to show how much we need God.
Hmm. And it's I know we talked about this before last week and the week before, but with the Bimoneer podcast, a lot of people are just starting it or catching up. I, for one, I'm taking in my pace very slowly because I love to take notes. I'm very academic minded in that regard. But the thing Father Mike was talking about recently, and he's talking about Genesis still right now, at least where I am, and he talks about how like the fundamental lie that creeps into our hearts, and it happened right from the Garden of Eden, is that we're kind of teased, we're tempted to doubt God's trustworthiness. And then, like Eve, we'll begin to grasp, at all the possibilities or grasp at the power. There's this temptation to do it ourselves. And like, that's something I've been reflecting on too. It's like, what do I have to stop carrying on myself and sharing with God or other people? And you have to do that, especially like, especially as someone who's like preparing for marriage, also like that. But like, just as a young adult, like you can't do this on your own. Anyone who's like, even like in their teen years, college years, but especially for adults, you can't do it on your own. You can't expect to be the sole carrier of all your burdens, and you can't expect your spouse or best friend to do that either.
Yeah. Will Smith, or Jada Pickett Smith said something about her husband along the lines of, it is not his responsibility to make me happy. And I think that goes through every person, right, that we are in relationship with. It is not God's responsibility for you to be happy, right? It is not anybody but yours. Like, you are responsible for your own happiness in the same way that we're responsible for our own holiness. So like, I am willing to share some of the ways that I responded today to my shortcomings, or that I responded today to my hard day. So like, one of the ways was evidently crying. I spent a couple of outbursts of tears here and there. That was one response. Another response that I had was I did the rosary while I was driving. I had 20 minutes, so I did the rosary. And another response was to vent to someone that I knew would listen. Right? But I think it is calming to know that even in this emotion, even in this pain, even in this whatever, like, don't doubt God's love. Don't doubt God's goodness.
And there's something
I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, like, there's something to say too, that are all valid reactions too. You crying, rosary are equally as necessary, because you need to feel what you're feeling too.
Yeah. And like, like, the devil is a liar, man. Like, the devil really wants us. The devil, like, I had such a good prayer this morning. Like, it was, and I haven't had it in such a long time, like that intimate and that like profound for me, that to go from that to, if you can imagine the other extreme, like it was like that kind of. And it's funny because I went to the gym this morning, like after prayer, and I saw my boyfriend, and he looked at me and he said, "You all right?" "Yeah, I'm fine." And then like 1 hour later, he was like, "It's okay. It's okay," And I think that knowing and like, emotions come and go, but that's why we have to be firm in the Lord. Like, that's why we have to be so firm in the love of God, because the devil likes to use these emotions. The devil likes to use, like Brandon said, like, that's why we cannot depend on them, because the devil uses them to show us, like, see, how could God love you? You wouldn't be feeling this way if he did.
Mhm.
How could, people say that they love you? They would have, like, called you and told you that. Like, that's how these toxic thoughts come in. And so I'm not saying that I'm immune to them, but I'm just saying that it's good to call them out, because then you know where they're coming from, right?
Exactly. And calling them out gives you some sort of power over it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you don't recognize a wound, recognize a sin, recognize a brokenness, there's no way you can work on healing. It's like there's a recent issue actually at the offices for the parish, and there's an issue with the phones and all that, and we're working on it. And we had the IT guy come in and worked on it. Dave, he's a great guy, great father, husband, everything. Really genuine stand-up guy. And he was looking at me and talking to me, and he said, Brandon, if there's not a problem, we can't fix it. We need to know the problem in order to fix something. And so if there's an issue, you need to know what you're facing. And that goes great for the spiritual life. Like, you could be struggling, you could be aching and all this stuff, but sometimes you need to know what you're going through and be able to name it. Is it loneliness? Is it PTSD? Is it, anxiety? What is it? Like, what emotions, what struggles are you carrying, in order to, like, find out what's the best path to work on it? If it's anxiety, depression, talking to a counselor or support. If it's, desolation and prayer, talking to a priest or a spiritual director. Like, there's help available, and that's the reality. We're not God, and we can't be.
And it's also like just letting yourself be loved for who and what you are. You don't need to do anything to earn anyone's love, not even God's. Not your partners, not your parents, not your coworkers. This is it.
That's the fundamental lie. That's the fundamental struggle. It's, the serpent telling Eve, he doesn't want you to eat of the fruit because you'll be like him. But that's the lie. We were already like him. We're already like God. We're already loved and cherished. No matter what you're going through, just recognize that you're not going through it alone. And though God might feel silence, he's there with you in his presence. So, any last words, Jess?
Don't let the devil take away your prayer. Don't let the devil push you away from prayer. Because I could be like, oh, you know what? I prayed today and it was a really shitty day, so I'm not going to pray tomorrow so that it'll be a good day. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that, yeah.
But yeah, don't let the devil take away your weapon of prayer. Other Peter calls it a weapon. So thanks for joining us for this week of Coffee and Cocoa. We will see you again next week, same time, same place.